Your brain learns what you repeat, even if it's pain. That is what we will talk about today. Your brain doesn't learn based on what's true. It learns based on what's repeated. It doesn't care if something feels good. It cares if something feels familiar. So if you're stuck in a loop, overthinking, self-doubt, second-guessing, collapsing into patterns you swore you'd outgrown, this isn't weakness. It's wiring, not weakness. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people never say out loud. Your brain is learning from your pain, just as fast as it would learn from progress. Think about this. Every time you mentally rehearse a failure, your brain records it. Every time you shrink yourself to avoid discomfort, your brain flags it as a pattern worth repeating. Every time you imagine rejection, play it out, relive it, reinforce it, your brain isn't judging it, it's memorizing it. Not because it's smart or strategic, because it thinks it's keeping you safe. This is how neuroplasticity actually works. Your brain is a pattern confirmation machine. It doesn't wait for logic. It doesn't pause for permission. If a thought gets paired with strong emotion, especially fear, anxiety, shame, or urgency, it fires a circuit. And if that circuit fires enough times, your brain hardwires it as a default response. Not because it's healthy, because it's efficient. So here's what we need to get clear. You're not just stuck, you're trained. And the training didn't come from a decision, it came from emotional repetition. Now let's break down why the brain favors pain, and why some of your most self-defeating thoughts keep getting reinforced, even when you're actively trying to grow. It's not sabotage, it's not laziness, and it's definitely not a sign you're broken, it's efficiency. Because your brain's primary job isn't to make you happy. It's to keep you alive by recognizing and repeating patterns that seem to help you survive, emotionally, socially, and physically. So if stress kept you alert, if self-criticism helped you meet expectations, if shrinking yourself avoided conflict, then your brain has no reason to delete those loops because to your nervous system, they worked. Now that doesn't mean they worked long-term, it just means they worked once. And in the world of neural survival, once is enough to get saved. So your pain patterns get coded, and then they start replaying automatically. You doubt yourself before anyone else can. You downplay good news because celebration feels unsafe. You delay action because it protects you from judgment, even if it also delays growth. And this is where most people misread their progress. They think they're backsliding, they think they're undisciplined. But what's actually happening is this. You're trying to build a new self on top of wiring that's still loyal to the old one. Let's pause right here for a second. If this is landing for you, if you're realizing you're not lazy or broken but patterned, tap the like button. And if you want more videos like this, grounded, honest, and smart, hit subscribe so YouTube doesn't bury them under algorithm noise. Okay, let's keep going. What we need to talk about next is critical, because repetition is powerful, but it's also neutral. So the real shift happens not when you try to think better thoughts, but when you become conscious of what you're repeating in the first place. Your brain is always learning, even when you're not trying to teach it anything, especially then. So if repetition is inevitable, the real question becomes, what are you unintentionally teaching your brain to normalize? Let me repeat. What exactly are you teaching your brain to normalize without realizing it? Think about it. You scroll past your own wins because they make you feel exposed. Your brain registers that. That's a loop. You mentally rehearse how something might go wrong, just in case. That gets reinforced too. Someone compliments you, and you freeze for half a second. Not because you doubt them, but because being seen still feels like exposure. Your brain doesn't register it as connection. It tags it as risk. And that hesitation, that's not just a quirk. It's a reinforced response your nervous system learned to protect you. You're not thinking, you're firing, and if that firing happens enough times, your brain starts to carve a groove, and that groove becomes your default interpretation of life, even when it no longer matches the reality you're trying to live in. And this is where most mindset advice falls apart, because they tell you to just think positive, as if you can overwrite a survival-based wiring loop with a motivational quote. But the truth is, your brain doesn't unlearn by being corrected, it unlearns through new experience, reinforced often enough to become real. So if you want to rewire, you don't need a perfect plan. You need one repeated moment of conscious interruption, followed by another, and another. Small, emotional, consistent proof that a different response is possible and safe. Let's talk about what that actually looks like in the real world. Not just in theory, but in real patterns that reshape how your brain responds to the world around you. If your brain is always learning, then the most powerful thing you can do is stop feeding it the very signals that are keeping you stuck. But here's the key most people miss. You don't rewire by thinking differently. You rewire by responding differently and repeating it. So what works really when it comes to rewiring? 1. Catch the loop mid-fire. Not before, not after, during. That moment you feel yourself retreat, collapse, explain yourself again, apologize for being seen. You pause, not to fix it, not to argue with it, but to interrupt the automatic firing with awareness. This is just wiring, not a warning. That phrase alone starts breaking the loop. 2. Introduce a micro shift. Your brain doesn't need a dramatic change, it needs a signal that something new can happen here. So instead of retreating, you stay. Instead of self-correcting, you breathe. Instead of replaying the worst outcome, you narrate a neutral one. Your brain doesn't know what's real, it knows what's repeated. And if you repeat a micro shift with emotion, your brain logs it, and the loop gets weaker. 3. Reward the new loop immediately. Not with dopamine, with ownership, you name it. I did that differently. I interrupted the loop. I responded instead of reacting. No fanfare, no perfection, just consistent proof that a new identity is becoming more believable than the old one. That's how rewiring starts, and that's how it sticks. Here's what we're locking in. Your brain is always learning, but it's not judging. It doesn't care if what you repeat makes you happy, anxious, or invisible. It only cares that you repeat it. So if you want to change, don't start with a plan. Start with awareness, with one interruption, with one new response reinforced enough times that your brain finally says, "Oh, we do this now." And then it does, automatically. If this helped you realize you're not broken, just trained. Like the video so more people find it. And if you want more grounded content like this, hit subscribe. The content on this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute medical, financial, legal, business, or lifestyle advice. Always consult a qualified professional before making changes to your health, finances, legal situation, or personal routines. Do your own research before making any decisions related to income, monetization, or technology use. All views are based on publicly available information and emerging trends at the time of publication, and may evolve over time.